All right, today we're diving into something pretty huge, Project Firelight. We're talking about a plan that aims to put one of crypto's largest assets, XRP, to work in a whole new way. So just think about this for a second. XRP, it's a giant in terms of market cap, right? But for the longest time, a massive amount of it has just been, well, sitting there. What if all that dormant capital, all that potential could finally be unleashed into the world of DeFi?
And we're not talking about a small amount of money here. This quote really frames the problem perfectly. You've got hundreds of billions of dollars in assets like XRP that are totally cut off from all the innovation happening in decentralized finance. It's a massive, untapped resource.
Okay, so here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll talk about why XRP is called a sleeping giant. Then we'll introduce Project Firelight, which is basically the wake-up call. We'll get into the nuts and bolts of how liquid staking works, touch on a really cool new concept called economic security, and then we'll look ahead at the future of what people are calling XRP Fi. So let's start with the big problem, the core challenge. Why is an asset as big as XRP just sitting on the sidelines? Well, it all boils down to this idea of idle capital. And here's the thing, when you look at the top crypto assets, XRP is right up there, but it's had this one major drawback. There's been no native way for holders to earn a return on it, to get a yield. It's kind of like owning a Formula One engine, incredibly powerful, but it's just been sitting in a garage because no one built a car around it. Well, it looks like that engine might finally be getting a chassis. And that brings us to the solution on the table, Project Firelight. So what is it? In a nutshell, Firelight is a system, a restaking layer built to finally let XRP holders stake their tokens and earn a real yield. And the key here is that the yield is designed to come from genuine economic utility, from other apps paying to use the system, not just from thin air. Now this is the part that's a real game changer. It's designed so you can earn all these rewards without having to lock up your XRP and throw away the key. You get to keep your assets liquid, flexible, which, as you know, is absolutely crucial in a space that moves as fast as DeFi. Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, but how does this liquid staking thing actually work? How can you earn rewards on your XRP while still having it unlocked and ready to use? The process itself is meant to be pretty simple. Step 1, you stake your XRP. In return, you get a new token called SXRP. Now here's the magic. You can take that SXRP token and go use it anywhere in DeFi, all while your original XRP is still staked in the background, earning rewards. You're effectively creating multiple ways to earn from just one single asset. So let's be clear on what CXRP is. It's what's known as a liquid staking token, or LST. The best way to think about it is like a claim check or a receipt for your staked XRP. But it's a super-powered receipt that's also a fully functional crypto token that you can use to lend, borrow, or trade with. You know, seeing it side by side really makes it click. With traditional staking, your assets are locked up, totally illiquid, and you're usually just earning from one source. The Firelight model just flips that script completely. Your capital stays liquid thanks to STXRP, which opens up a ton of different reward opportunities and keeps you flexible. And the possibilities here are pretty exciting. You could, for example, take your STXRP and supply it to a lending protocol to earn extra yield. Or you could use it as collateral to borrow other assets. Or maybe add it to a liquidity pool on a decentralized exchange to earn trading fees. The strategies really start to compound. Okay, but earning yield is really only one part of the equation. Where Firelight gets truly ambitious is in where that yield comes from. It's proposing a shift from the kind of security we're used to, network security, to something entirely new, economic security. So what's the difference? Well, think of traditional staking, like with Ethereum, as paying for a security guard for an entire apartment building. It protects the whole network. Firelight's economic security model is different. It's like your staked XRP acts as an insurance policy for a specific app inside that building. And that app pays a fee for that insurance, and that fee is what goes back to you as a reward. This whole model creates a brand new category of apps, which are called Economically Secured Services, or ESS. You can think of these as the customers for the Firelight protocol. They get to tap into this giant pool of staked XRP to make their own products and services safer and more trustworthy for their users. So what kind of services are we talking about here? Well, imagine a DeFi insurance protocol that can now offer way more coverage because it's backed by billions of dollars in XRP.
Or think about a platform for tokenizing real-world assets that needs a massive, trustworthy liquidity backstop. These are the kinds of powerful financial services that could be built on top of this. All right, so where does it go from here? Let's take a quick look at the roadmap and the bigger vision for what this could mean for XRP and DeFi as a whole. And this isn't just some far-off idea. The wheels are already in motion. A public preview with early access kicked off in July 2025. The first pre-deposit vault went live just a month later, in mid-August. And then, looking towards the end of 2025, we're expecting to see the first official roadmap for those economically secured services we just talked about. It's also worth pointing out who's behind this. A project of this scale needs serious backing. Firelight is being incubated by Centaura and built on the Flare network, which is huge because Flare already has deep expertise and infrastructure for integrating with XRP. And while this whole thing is kicking off with XRP, you can tell from this quote that the team is thinking much, much bigger. They see this model of economic security as a new path forward for all of DeFi, one that could eventually include many other assets. Which really brings us to the big final question. By unlocking billions in dormant capital and completely rethinking what staking can be used for, could Project Firelight really be the start of a whole new frontier for decentralized finance? It's a bold vision, and it's going to be fascinating to watch it unfold. Thanks for tuning into this explainer.